Uh, Hello. My name is Jeremy, and I have a very important question. My question is first impressions on games. So that you all guys should know, Halo 4, right? The graphics and stuff were very, very good. And the storyline and the armor and stuff, the weapons and the models. But if you already have an idea on making like a game and like making the graphics as much as like the great as possible for you, and you already have an idea for like other games coming up, like how should you like make that game? Should you make it your best game like for your first impression, or should you make it like kind of tone it down a little bit and then bring it up a lot?
There's a story there. I think it's going to be very important, first and foremost, to set yourself a deadline, whatever that deadline is, and then work your way backwards. If it's 2 weeks that you have as a deadline, then obviously something crazy and over the top might not be doable, depending on how many team members you also have on that. For example, some of these games we had like a 2 to 4 week turnover. So there was no time to be able to do the big epic game that we would all like to do. So in the background, we are working on that slowly but surely. But I think it's more important to set yourself realistic goals so that way you keep that momentum going, and then keep working on that big project in the back that hopefully you can finally get out there.
I'm playing on that. Halo 4, and I am addicted to it, is a big budgeted game with a very large team. So always take into account the resources at your disposal. Always strive to have the best quality that you can release, no matter what it is. Even if it's like a simple little jumping game, just do the best that you can in the deadline that you have, and always strive to give your all, because it's going to show. But you always have to remember that you need to be also realistic in terms of what you can achieve in the time that you have, and what you may need to put on the back burner until such a time that you do have the resources to do what you want to do and go all out. And for example, one of the things when we were doing the Panda Run, we had a very tight deadline for Panda Run, and it was from scratch, everything. And yeah, we wanted to do a whole lot more to it, but we ended up having, because for sake of deadline and not sacrificing the quality and look of the game and gameplay aspect, we simplified a little bit, because at the time, it was just 3 people on that game and one programmer, 1.5 programmer, the other one's kind of learning, and 1.5 artist. Our third person was kind of like both worlds. So we had to realize that these are the resources at our disposal, and we accommodated with such, which is why we decided to do vector as opposed to 3D. It's why we did a mobile app as opposed to something for a console, because the time frame was so tight. There was just realistically no way to finish for a console, and you never want to release something that you are not 100% willing to back up because you feel it's not right, or you feel that you cut corners. So that is a learning process. As you make your first game, you'll realize, based on your deadline, if your deadline is 2 weeks away, you realize, okay, maybe I bit off more than I can chew. Let's simplify a little bit. How can I simplify without sacrificing the quality of the game? And that's all the learning process that you go as you actually develop your games and everything.
One more thing to add on to that, because I was listening to everything you were saying. Um, you're probably sitting there looking at, like, obviously you're looking at a table with 4 people thinking, okay, these people definitely are dedicated, and I'm only one person. I'm just at home writing a story. This probably isn't going to be possible. The number one thing that you have to do, and trust me, if this one thing you don't do, you might as well just give up, because it's not going to happen, is that you have to stay motivated. In gaming, you have to realize that you might have people working with you, but it might not happen now, tomorrow, next week, or probably for a very long time. So you're probably gonna have to put on different hats. I said I'm an environment artist. I worked on some of the environments on the game,
And I can tell you right now, we were talking in the car on the way up here that I'm gonna have to start dabbling in programming, you know, because this is the way the world is shifting to, and as much as it scares me, because really the only experience I have in programming is honestly HTML, and that's not really programming. We were talking about it.
You know how to click a button.
Click a button, yeah, or make a button, then click it. But and then or maybe some simple expressions in After Effects if you guys know After Effects. But you have to A, stay motivated, B, make peace with the fact that you're gonna have to wear different hats, at least in the very beginning. And I know that there was a documentary, an indie game documentary, the guy who pretty much everyone hates, but he made the game called Fez. Yeah, but it was one person. You know, he might be selfish, but that's one credit you can give the guy, is that he did it himself. At least I think it was him or one other person, because he was able to find that one person. There we go. So he came up with that one person later on. But you have to make comfort. You have to make peace with the fact that you're gonna wear different hats, and you have to surround yourself with like-minded or people who are just as passionate, like